Just a great feeling to see him grow and see him develop into one of the premier pass rushers in this league. It's only about 5 of them. He's definitely one of them for sure, bro.
Greg Rousseau is tied for first in the NFL with the most amount of sacks, and it's at 3. And I know it's only after 1 week, but hearing Von Miller specifically state that Greg Rousseau is one of the top 5 defensive ends in the NFL, and there's only about 5 of them. You heard that from Von Miller, Hall of Famer Von Miller. Let that sink in. I think there is a lot to be understood from that comment and what to be expected from Greg Rousseau in 2024 and years to come.
The thing that could have happened to Von Miller was a 3-sack game by Greg Rousseau, because now Miami's going to put all their attention towards the 4th-year pass rusher, and Von Miller, who had a pretty productive game himself in just 29 snaps of work, 2 tackles, a sack, a tackle for loss, and a quarterback hit. They get some one-on-one matchups this week.
I think Chris Brown said it right on his show, The One Bills Drive with Steve Tasker, and it's the fact that Greg Rousseau is going to start getting attention, and less attention is going to be put on guys like Von Miller, like Ed Oliver, Daquan Jones, A.J. Epenesa. They're going to have one-on-one opportunities, especially if they start opting to double cover Greg Rousseau, who, per Von Miller, is one of the top 5 elite defensive ends in the NFL. And I think you look at what Greg Rousseau offers the Buffalo Bills with his size, his strength, his speed to rush, using his power at times, right? His everything. He's a full package for Bills Mafia. And I really believe understanding that and already seeing after week 1, number 1 in the NFL with the total amount of sacks, I mean, that is absolutely huge. And this was against the Arizona Cardinals with Kyler Murray, who's a very fast, agile, quick quarterback, very tough to sack. Greg Rousseau at 6'7", might not necessarily be quick enough normally to chase down a Kyler Murray or bottle him up, but doing some big-time things. So we can actually see that Von Miller even had a sack in this game, and really you go down here to Greg Rousseau, 3 total sacks and 2 quarterback hits. Absolutely remarkable. And really the big thing here is the turnovers for the Buffalo Bills. So here we have Greg Rousseau at number 1, tied for first in the NFL with 3 total sacks. And I know it's only after 1 week, but again, Kyler Murray, pretty decent offensive line, big, tall offensive lineman for the Cardinals. And it goes beyond just the sacks. It's actually, he had a forced fumble. So you could take a look here that Greg Rousseau tallied up a forced fumble, basically a strip sack on Kyler Murray that was recovered by Dorian Williams. I mean, Greg Rousseau is proving to be a difference maker for the 2024 Buffalo Bills, and more attention is going to be starting to be placed on Greg Rousseau, which is going to open things up for Ed Oliver, for Von Miller, for A.J. Epenesa, and Daquan Jones, and other players on this team.
I felt like we're doing a lot of reacting and waiting for them to do things instead of us being the aggressors, right? And so at halftime, again, the coaches did a great job, and the players came out and played aggressive, and I think that was shown. I think the first defensive series was 3-and-out.
Knowing that Bobby Babich, this is his first time calling defensive plays for the Bills, and hearing Sean McDermott in his press conference interview state that we were kind of on our heels to start the game, like we weren't aggressive on offense or defense. And I think I kind of got the sense there. It was like we were all kind of starting very, very slow. It was like we're knocking the rust off, trying to get a feel of the game versus really going out there, trying to win it and be aggressive. I think Sean McDermott was definitely accurate by saying that. And I think with Bobby Babich being a new defensive coordinator, learning how to call plays, I think as the season develops, he's going to continue to get better and better and better. He's going to figure out how to scheme things up, especially if Greg Rousseau has one-on-one opportunities, or if they start double covering Greg Rousseau, it's going to open things up for other players, especially with the loss of Matt Milano. Having this defensive line carry us this year, it's going to help the linebackers. It's going to help the secondary really develop, with DeMar Hamlin having to fill in at free safety. So, and Taron Johnson now being injured. Like, this defensive line, we're relying on this defensive line more than we ever have. And I would say to start the season, we're relying on Josh Allen almost more than we ever have. allowing time for players to develop, and even coaches with Joe Brady and Bobby Babich. Rousseau at 6'6", 266 pounds. I think he's even grown. He's probably taller than that. Going against Tua and the Miami Dolphins this upcoming week, just like Kyler Murray, when you get your hands up in the air, it's too hard for the quarterback to see over that. And I think what happens is they hold on to the football extra long, and that really could be helping Greg Rousseau and other players get some sacks. I mean, you can't see over the defensive line. You don't want to put the ball in jeopardy by just throwing it. You're blind as a quarterback. I mean, a guy like Greg Rousseau, with his hands above his head, just helps out the entire defensive line. So even if he is being double teamed, him putting his hands above his head and jumping up in the air creates a wall that the quarterback has to either see around or get the ball past, which is so hard to do. Rousseau was a super raw prospect coming out of college, right? Not a lot of experience, had a lot of success, but not a lot of experience. Comes to the NFL and starts getting coached up by the Bills coaching staff and also Von Miller, and now he's developed into this stellar player, and per Von Miller again, top 5 defensive end in the NFL for the Buffalo Bills. Other players on this defensive line, we could start with A.J. Epenesa. He did have a quarterback hit, and I'm a fan of quarterback hits. I think anytime you could just at least get to the quarterback, hit him, lay him out, put him on his back over the length and course of a game, I think that ultimately gets to the quarterback, maybe trying to get rid of the football sooner or just playing a little bit more fearful. Taquan Jones also with a quarterback hit. I think that's absolutely huge. Pass deflection as well. Von Miller clearly with the sack, quarterback hit. He also had a tackle for loss. Greg Rousseau, we already spoke about him, completely balled out for Bills Mafia with three total sacks. What do you guys think about Greg Rousseau opening things up and complimenting other players on this defensive line? Do you agree with Von Miller's statements that he is an elite defensive end in the league, a top 5 defensive end in the NFL? And what do you think this is ultimately going to present for the Buffalo Bills in 2024 and for years to come? You know, who do you think is going to really reap the most benefits from Greg Rousseau completely balling out? And you look at it going against Kyler Murray, going against Tua and these shorter quarterbacks. I think a player like Greg Rousseau, 6'6", 6'7", his ability to be a speed rusher or just great against the rush, it's just so dynamic for Bills Mafia. But I appreciate you guys so much. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit like, subscribe for future content. Also, check down below. The links are in the description to the BNC chicken wing merch. There's free shipping on that, sizes small through 5XL. Also, check out Course Careers. You guys can get $50 off any of their full paid courses. They do have free introduction courses that you could start any of their career paths. That's personally how I started my new job in 2024. That's why I'm recommending it to Bills Mafia. Also, SeatGeek, you guys could actually get discounts on Bills games, on any sort of events in Buffalo. If you use SeatGeek, just check the link down below, promo code BNC, you get $20 off your first purchase. But I appreciate you. Hit like, subscribe, and go Bills.